the end part of that song where like Prince is just like, that sounds like how I speak to my kids, like 80% of the time. When you get in your room, why is it something? You know, yeah, it sounds alike. Kiss by Prince. Of course, mine is not a number one hit, but it's okay. Hey! Welcome to our studio, senior correspondent at the Straits Times, Hedy Khoo. Oh my goodness, always so good to have you here. I mean, the chats that we have, sometimes I wish you could hear the chats we have off air as well. Those are amazing. I learned so much from you, and I laugh too much as well. But today in particular, we're going to talk about an article that recently came out, just really, really fresh, okay? Yes. Tastemakers, insurance boss reviews, Michelin listed hawkers. And this is where you actually, it's kind of like a profile piece.
It's a profile
piece. Of Lucas Neo, yes. Right? He is infamous in his own way, huh?
I don't really like the word infamous, but
that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Because there's a negative connotation, but he's the, I don't know, he's the man of the hour at the moment, a person of interest.
That's right. Okay, so that begs the first question. I mean, what made you decide to profile him for Tastemakers?
Well, he stirred up so much controversy, and I thought he stirred up so much controversy. I just, everybody was slamming him left, right, center. He only had one video where he came up to address it a little bit, but I wanted to know more. I wanted to find out. And because I've been following his IG even way before he started doing all this food stuff, right? I thought I don't know, something struck me that maybe he's a little bit misunderstood.
Right.
And I had this gut feeling, and I wanted to find out if, that could possibly be the case.
Maybe I can let those people know who are not familiar with Lucas Neo. So he is an insurance boss, right? Yes. That has really gotten a lot of people, up in arms on one end, and other people, he's got a huge fan following as well, because he's been putting up all these sort of like brutally honest Michelin hawker reviews. So it's very specific to that group of hawkers. And it's kind of sparked, right, a lot of like controvery and backlash even. Yes. And he's taking all that on and continuing what he's doing, right? Yes. Yeah. So I've read the piece, and I got to say that it was, there were certain things that you would come to know about Lucas that is really, really, the family side of him, how he's a real family man, We'll talk more about that in just a bit. So for listeners who aren't aware of it, why did his food reviews go so viral? Because I'm sure he's not the only one who has given these honest reviews about Michelin-starred, hawker food.
Yes. Everybody thinks of him as a very negative person, or at least those people who hate on him, right? But actually, way before this Michelin thing, he had already started doing food reviews, but they were more sedate and tame, and like he said, nice things. And these were not Michelin-listed hawkers. So one of them also went viral. He featured this roast meat stall called Punki. That's a hidden gem. And,
not anymore.
So the thing is, he had been doing all this stuff, but I think something about the Michelin listed hawkers got everyone riled up, because I think he was on a mission to find out how did they even get on the list.
Right.
So then he started off with the noodle story and giving what he himself says brutally honest review. And of course, it started gaining traction quite rapidly, I think, because he was giving his really frank and honest reviews or comments. But I think he did, mention along the way that it's really, and I think it's obvious even if he doesn't mention it.
Sure.
It's his personal opinion.
And he's allowed that.
Yeah, he's not pretending to be a food expert or something.
Sure.
He's like a regular customer. He goes there, he queues up for his food, he pays for his food.
Sure.
He just chooses to review it on camera, I suppose.
And we should let him have that, right? Understood. We're actually going to go on to our Facebook Live to talk more about this personality and really how was that interview experience for you here on our Facebook Live. Come and join us, and also to answer that Facebook Live question for a great prize.
1FM 91.3.
Alrighty, we are here on our Facebook Live. Once again, senior correspondent from the Straits Times, Hedy Khoo, talking about this article. Please go and find it over at straitstimes.com. It came out recently. You want to look for the Tastemakers, Insurance Boss Reviews, Michelin-listed hawkers. And this is all a profile piece on Lucas Neo. So, what kind of, backlash did he face? Can you talk more about that? And how it affected him, personally or even professionally.
Yeah, I think the backlash came really hard and fast, and it probably came as a big shock to him as well. Well, people love to hate on people, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you put yourself in the spotlight. Everybody has something to say.
It's considered a pastime now.
So they were saying like, what if they review him as an insurance agent and stuff, and and I think they also. I think kind of a low blow going after his workplace, but because they were saying, in all fairness, he's breaking the rice bowls of hawkers. So, I guess maybe some thought that they were after justice in wanting to break his, which is not necessarily quite the same thing, I think. But also like personal, very, jibes at, because he made this, what I felt was a tongue-in-cheek comment, and I did ask him, and he did say yes, it was tongue-in-cheek. The whole saga about like Chendol Gate, because he said that you don't need skill to assemble a chendol. Seemingly, because you don't see the making of the chendol strips, right? The jelly strips. But and then he made this comment, tongue-in-cheek, saying that my daughter can do this or something to that effect. But he actually added on a part which was cut out during the editing, because he added that, but my daughter probably don't let her do it because she'll mess things up.
Sure.
It was more like, it was meant to be fun and tongue-in-cheek, because his videos are all unscripted. He's not sitting there thinking, what is he going to say? It just, he's just straight shooter, and like,
and that's what gives
off
it
his
the
mouth.
gold moments as well.
Yes, but also I guess that's the risk, if you go unscripted, then it's, it's not all pretty things. And then like, when you are saying something that is tongue-in-cheek, I think maybe people take things a little bit too seriously. They're probably going to hate on me for saying this as well, but I honestly felt it was tongue-in-cheek, and I did verify that with him, and he did agree. And unfortunately, the part that would have made it more obvious that was tongue-in-cheek was snipped off. So he he came across as, I guess, this bad guy, this villain,
a little bit arrogant or anything.
Bully.
Hawker bully.
I don't know. I'm just making things up here. But yeah, in essence, it was that feeling that everybody was hating on him and making it seem like he's this horrible person. That who is he to have the right to go around reviewing and all that. Yeah.
So it has affected him quite a bit personally and even professionally, like you said, for him to go after his, role as an insurance boss.
Because he's an executive director of a financial services agency. Yeah. And I think his team, obviously, if you work with this person, people are slamming him and then saying stuff, right, about your workplace. It's bound to get you a little down, right?
Did he feel better, after being able to talk to you about that and reveal about it?
Oh, no, I have no part to play in this, but I believe that I think he's a very strong character. So I think he managed to work it out, and just
that it comes with the territory.
Yeah, and he decided that because I think he's a person who is very focused on what he's doing, and I think I did mention in the article that if he doesn't complete something, a task that he sets himself, right, it feels like a failure. So he's very bent on continuing with this Michelin listed hawker series, and is supposedly coming to an end. He's targeting, I think, at the rate he's doing it, he slowed down a little bit, but he's ramping it up again, and it's going to end next month. And then I guess the backlash did have impact, so he's still mulling over whether to continue posting social media content or possibly to take it to YouTube, where he is able to make this project self-sustaining instead of dumping so much money into it.
Sure. And speaking of which, that's the next question that we have. He actually insists on paying for every meal that he reviews.
Yes.
Why is this detail significant?
I think it's not just that. He actually queues for his food. Yeah. So I think that's very admirable. Contrary to what people might think, he's not like this guy who sails in and then expects, people to serve him a plate. Sure. And then he's just going to bash it into bits. This guy sincerely queues for his food. He's not putting on airs like, I'm a food reviewer, I'm here, I'm the king. He's not behaving this way at all. He behaves like a regular customer.
Right.
Queues for his food, pays for it, and then he goes off, and then whatever he does with it, But I think that's very admirable, because it's important. There are too many people who, because of a free meal, they're ready to say anything, possibly positive things, even if it's not terribly nice. I mean, it's a human thing, right? Somebody
Right.
gives you something, you're not going to like, oh, this is terrible. Okay, some people might, but generally, for most part, you want to be nice about it, right?
You feel that obligation too. I would
Yes, so
say,
he doesn't want to be obligated.
Right.
And he wants, so I guess he's a man of principle in a way. Yeah.
The way I see it is that is why, he wants to be able to be honest in his reviews. So he does, he queues up, he
Yes.
puts in the time to queue up, he pays for his own
Yes.
food. And I think in a way, I feel like that's his way of showing respect for the hawkers.
Oh, you're reading my mind. I can leave the studio now. You just speak on my behalf.
don't like that. Don't leave.
No,
we always
but
have
it's
such a good
true.
time chatting. Yes.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's the way I would view
Yes,
it. You know
yes,
what I mean? Because
exactly.
yes, I am going to give you my honest review, but I'm here. I want to
Yeah.
see how your business is run. I'm lining up for it. So kudos to that.
It's although in all fairness, hawkers can easily, some hawkers, they can easily, those who are doing very well, they can
Yeah.
easily, no problem, compute a plate of something that
Sure.
they're selling,
Sure.
and they have no issues with it. They're happy to, because a lot of them are very generous that way.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to accept that, and he'll just forcibly use the PayNow, scan the QR code and forcibly pay them and force his payment of them. I think that's an important detail to me, and
Sure.
that's something that I observed about him.
Did he say that he's now getting more recognized by these hawker owners?
Yes, and in fact, when I was talking to him and we were
Yeah.
at the hawker center for a photo shoot, a guy came up to him, gave him a fist bump, and told him, say, "Oh yeah, this
I
whole
saw the
thing,
photo, yeah.
this whole thing happened," and but he told him, carry on because he appreciates his honest reviews. So I guess there are really two camps of people.
Sure.
I would like to think that there are more people on the not slamming him camp, but it seems
Right.
to be 50-50 a little bit from comments that I'm seeing on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to jump back really, really soon. So once again, I just want to highlight to everyone, hey, that question that's scrolling across our Facebook live screen, just answer it and it might just win you that $150 worth of dining vouchers from the Kind Bowl. Would you rather be told the truth or be lied to? So simple. Drop us a comment or even a WhatsApp in order to stand a chance to win. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Drive here on 1FM. You just heard from Cliff Richard with Some People. That sounds like, he wrote it from the local context. Some people, when they are honest with how they feel about some hawker food, they will get slammed. And they either get a lot of love or they get slammed, right? So much in the case for your profile piece that you recently did for Tastemakers, Lucas Neo. We have the senior correspondent from Straits Times, Hedy Khoo. And we were just talking off air about how, what he's been facing, the one detail about how he insists on queuing up for his food, paying for his food so that he can continue to be, very real about it and very honest with his reviews. And you were saying that the camp is really split in the middle, right? About
Yeah.
those who love or those who hate him. We just want to point out to everyone tuning in, answer this very simple question. Would you rather be told the truth or be lied to? Drop us a WhatsApp, 88550 and you might just win for yourself $150 worth of dining vouchers from the Kind Bowl. And I think that's kind of the dilemma that I think Lucas kind of faces in what he does, yeah? Does he want to tell the truth? I think he's already decided. I want to always share the truth, yeah.
I think the thing is, his truth may not necessarily be everybody else's truth. And I think
Sure.
that's a point that a lot of us missed out on, because this is his personal opinion. If he doesn't like something about the food, he himself says food, the taste is subjective, right?
Sure.
He might not like it, but it doesn't mean you don't like it. It's just from his perspective. And ultimately, you go down, you try it yourself, and you see if you like it or not. So I think that's one point that a lot of people might have missed out on, even
Sure.
ourselves, because when we say something, oh, this is a truth, but it's not the truth. It is our truth. It doesn't mean that it's your truth. It doesn't have to be. If it does, then I'll probably be like a tyrant or something. But yeah.
Then you're possibly Pranakan, No, everyone's broccoli is terrible
if
except
you're-
for mine.
If you're in my house, then you're not allowed to say anything bad about my cooking.
Everyone take note, Take note. We have this comment from our Facebook, and someone says, I think we should not promote negativity because, the F&B is already an industry that is facing a lot of challenges. It's, they're struggling and all that.
Right.
What do you say to that?
I would say that in all fairness, you got to watch at least a couple of her videos. It's not all negative.
Sure.
You know, he has positive things to say about, but I don't know, in saying that we shouldn't promote negativity, are we focusing, too much on the negative part instead of trying to see, is there some positive in this?
Good
I
point.
think we ourselves, we have to open our minds. Is this guy really, really that negative? Or are we too ready to point fingers and say this person is very negative and, you shouldn't say anything negative? It's my mouth. Why can't I speak?
That is true.
Yeah.
That is really
true.
true.
In all fairness, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to all agree with me.
Yeah, I think that's really, really true. I mean, that's the basis of it, right? If we are not allowed to even voice our opinion about the food that we've just, eaten.
And we have to look at intent and agendas.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of people, we all have our own hidden agendas. Why is a person so fixated on being positive? Is that positive real? Is that being honest?
Sure.
You know, and which is more important?
And, he has a fan following who appreciate that sort of honesty, that he has in his reviews. And I think they should be allowed to enjoy that sort of content if that's what they want,
I mean, of course, there are some people who love being negative and all that. Then, I get, it's a whole spectrum of people.
Yeah.
You can't satisfy everyone.
Yeah.
What you can do in life with all things is that you be true to yourself. And I think that's the basis of all things that, as long as we can be true to ourselves, and it's a very difficult thing to do.
It is.
Whether we're in work, even with family, you don't really want to tell your wife or your husband the truth, right? That you're thinking in your head. But,
unless you want to sleep on your couch.
Yeah, exactly. So how much do we compromise? I think that's another thing that, this whole thing has made me think about.
But it also makes me, want to ask this next question, do you think that such honest sort of like hawker reviews can be done without hurting, the hawkers' livelihoods?
I think, if I can't, it's really hard for me to comment on that because I struggle with it myself in my work.
Sure.
Even as a news reporter, even before I wrote about food, it's like, in the media is a double-edged sword. You can raise publicity for someone.
Yeah.
Sometimes what you think is positive publicity can have a negative impact. For example, you speak beautifully about a certain hawker. Everybody descends on the place. He doesn't have enough to supply all these people who are coming down to support him. People start slamming him and scolding him. I just had someone tell me that over the weekend. So good things can have bad outcomes and bad things can have good outcomes.
Right. That's a really, really good point.
Yeah. So I think, you can think all you want, but in the end, sometimes action, you have no choice. You have to move. You can't be sitting there thinking too much.
All right. We are going to only wrap up here on air as we've got news coming up as well. But we're going to carry on the discussion with Hedy on our Facebook Live because our next question, has this controversy actually changed the way that Lucas kind of handles how he does his, his content? Find out the answer by joining us on our Facebook Live.
FD and
So has this controversy, changed how he is? Because it as you've pointed out, it's impacted his personal life, his professional life as well. Does it change the way that he wants to do his content, maybe his phrasing of things?
I think he's a very smart person and quite wise and quite actually he's not as brash as he appears in his video. I think he's a person who thinks also, and he just thinks very quickly, so maybe it appears as if he's not thinking. There's something that I noticed from
there.
I did notice. And so he has decided to tone down, which, as from an audience perspective, right? Yeah, it's not as entertaining. Because,
that's true,
right? You can see like he's holding himself back. And I did ask him about it, and indeed,
and what did he say? He's just trying to find that balance, right?
Yeah, I did quote him as saying that, to him, he used to be so passionate. He woke up every morning, revving to go out and do the reviews because, it's unscripted. He's himself, But he realizes that being himself there's a penalty to it. So he's now holding himself back. But I admire him and I respect him for that. I'm not on his camp.
Sure.
Because I'm a journalist, I have to be neutral, right?
Yeah.
But, in all fairness, I think it's difficult. When people are slamming you, it's easy to fight back and say nasty things and all that.
Yeah.
But I think it's harder to actually take feedback into consideration. I mean, I myself, I'm not a person who takes easily to feedback. It's difficult to do,
Yes.
and he's doing it. And he did it very quickly. So he removed the word exposing from exposing Michelin hawkers, his series, the very inflammatory title. He removed the word exposing. And for a while, there was no word in front. It was like bleeped out. And then he changed it to exploring. So you can see like he's quite an open guy, open to feedback. And bear in mind, he's been slammed, right? Left, right, center. And, he's taken this approach. I think he's also doing it for the sake of the people around him that he cares about, like his work, his workmates, his team, the people that he's leading, and also his family. So in consideration of all this, so people might say, yes, he's hunger for fame, and obviously, this article casts, him in the spotlight more, right? But I think he's not really that vain a person. I think he's reasonable. It's not like, or at least he's not an unthinking person that... There are people like that online. They just want fame. They'll do anything, unscrupulous tactics. I've got no shame. I just want fame. I don't think he belongs to that camp.
That should be put on a t-shirt. What did you just say? I want fame. I have no shame.
I have no shame. I just want fame.
I have no shame. I need to take that down. That's hilarious. That should be put on a t-shirt.
Yes.
I have no shame.
You better give me credit for that. I don't want to see a t-shirt line with that. I'll sue you.
I will put,
I'll send you a lawyer's letter.
Hedy Khoo, Hedy Khoo. No, but you should put that on a t-shirt, Hedy Khoo. Hedy Khoo, okay? So I have no shame. I just want fame. It is damn catchy. I just want fame.
I should go be a copywriter for a t-shirt maker.
No, that would be your side hustle.
We'll have the tote bags and stuff.
Yeah, no, really, I think that will fly.
Speaking of that, I've got to bring up this point.
Okay.
So what I also admire about him is that he doesn't waste food. He actually brings his, plastic containers. Packs all the food that he can't finish. He can't finish, and takes him back home to share with his family. I thought that was, I don't know, but these things really get to me because I'm sorry to say I waste a lot of food in the course of my work. I'm sure the zero waste people are like hating on me now, but. It shows that this guy cares and he doesn't take things as flippantly as one might think. Like people cook this food, the hawkers cook this food. You don't want to just dump the whole thing into the bin. No, you don't want to bin it.
Like you did point out, much earlier in the interview, it was about intention. And I think he shows this in many ways.
And integrity.
And integrity, right?
Intention and integrity.
He orders, he gives a fair review because he orders all the food that the hawker, does, right? But he doesn't want to waste it, so he takes it home. Even how, the intention, I feel, I'm seeing it because he takes, all the criticism, all the backlash that he's been facing, and he does these changes, right? Because he understands this is feedback to him that's like, okay, it does make sense. And I think it points to his true intention that he just wants to do an honest review on these hawkers, right? So I think there's definitely more than meets the eye, and I think a great way for everyone to just, maybe get to know the guy a little bit better by reading that article by yourself, Tastemakers, that came out recently over the weekend, right? What is the main message you hope for readers and listeners to really take away from his profile?
I think like when somebody puts himself in the spotlight, it's easy to pigeonhole the person. Oh, this person is bad, this person is good. I think this also applies in our daily life. When we meet people, oh, do I like this person? Do I not like this person? Oh, this person did this, this person is like that. People are more than that. We have different sides to us. Or maybe we are a nasty colleague, but we're very nice with our family, or maybe vice versa. We've got to give people a chance. I think, just as you don't want him to be throwing stones at hawkers, don't be too ready to throw stones at people yourself.
Oh, that's a good point.
Before you cast all these things and all this talk of, don't be a negative person and stuff. Hey, look at yourself first.
Right.
Let's look at ourselves. Are we that great? Are we that perfect?
That should be on a t-shirt as well.
A lot of t-shirt material this morning.
Hey, think about it. You need to set this up, for yourselves.
I will. Seriously, I will.
I think it's more for me, what you've just said. And it's also about we need to keep that sort of like landscape more vibrant, that people are allowed to voice their own opinions. Because if everyone who wants to say something gets, kind of like muffled out because like, oh, you cannot say this thing, oh, it's potentially negative, then there's no vibrancy, right?
Yeah, I don't think he set out to be hated on.
No,
I think there are people, as I said, certain people online, they deliberately do very controversial things to get themselves noticed, because hate is the fastest way. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't think he's really like that, I think he wanted to... One thing that he shared with me is that when he embarked on this whole social media campaign, and he even hired a social media manager, which, he's paying monthly, right?
Yeah.
He insisted he didn't want to do weird clownish acts online, for his content.
Right.
And he wanted to do stuff that will have a value to society, that he can influence people in a positive way. Okay. So it's not that he doesn't want fame, he doesn't want to be able to influence people.
Sure.
But he wanted to have a positive impact. So it's quite an irony, that people are telling him like, oh, don't be this negative person. But this guy has this measure of positivity in him.
Right. That's interesting.
I think we got to open our eyes a little to look for the positive things a little bit more than we're so ready to cast stones.
I hope it's okay if I actually mention this, because we talked about it before we started the interview. You told me that actually Lucas was not keen on actually doing the interview.
Yes, yeah.
So I think again,
yes, he ignored my messages, and he's probably listening to this. So I remember you for doing that.
Because I think he wasn't interested in the fame sort of it. He wanted to just
tone down. Yeah, exactly.
He wanted to put across just these honest reviews.
The backlash had this impact, and he wanted to tone down. He didn't want to be in the spotlight and stuff. And so I had to do a little bit of convincing. And thank goodness there was somebody that we have this mutual contact.
No, but I think
put me through.
To me, all those point towards what was his true intention. And I think he's kind of held fast that he just wanted to do an honest review.
I would like to add that although I did this profile piece on him, I cannot claim that I know him or that I'm like this great assessor of characters and stuff. But from I have my own experience dealing with people, and I feel for when it comes to him, I think really honestly, there's more to him than what everybody thinks. And I hope that I did at least, give him a fair, paint a fair picture of him in my article. That was what I wanted to do.
I enjoyed the part of the article where you pointed about how he's very much a family man, he's got tattoos of his father, his wife, his kids, all upon him. And it just shows this other side to him. So I think, your profile piece did achieve that.
Thank you so much.
Some quick fires before we go, some quick fire fun questions, okay? Are you ready?
Okay.
How passionate they never are, but it's okay. How passionate would you say you are about food? From 1 being I eat to live, or 10 being I would give Lucas Neo a run for his money?
I would say I'll come up with my own section. I live to eat.
Oh my goodness. Lucas is tuning in.
Oh.
Yes. He said, yes, I ignored you a little bit, Onila. Ha 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 ha. Lucas, thank you so much for tuning in. And honestly, please, I must give Hedy a lot of credit. It was a really wonderful profile piece that she did of you.
Thank you so much. Not possible if you didn't agree to it, though.
Yeah. Hey, think about coming on my show, Lucas.
Yeah, you should do that.
Yeah. He will ignore me quite a bit, is it?
Don't worry.
All right. More of these quick-fire questions are for you, Hedy. You often cook at home, right?
Not as often as I like, but yes. Yeah.
But you enjoy cooking, right? You got some skills under your belt.
I wouldn't say I got some skills. I cook enough to... Well, I can't really criticize myself, right?
So here is a question on that, okay?
Yes.
If you could choose one, would you rather be a super cook, someone who has the ability to cook really, really well, do it with your eyes closed, or but not be able to taste?
Or
would you like to have super taste buds but be unable to cook?
I think I will choose my own choice. I'll just die. I'll kill myself if I'm faced with these two choices. This is very extreme. I will have to take extreme measures.
No!
Yeah, I'll have to take extreme measures.
Have your taste buds, have your cooking skills. We want you around, all right? Last one, finish the sentence. Food is...
life.
Yay! All right, there you have it. Senior correspondent from Straits Times, Hedy Khoo with us. Please come back.
Thank you.
I think the next interview will be about this thing I just learned today. You actually have a very like award-winning, high-performing show dog.
Well, he's not high performing or award-winning. He's just won a couple of ribbons so far. He's still very young.
I can tell you that it's not a couple.
It's really a couple.
It's one of those, where that one contestant that goes in, right? And then they just sweep all the awards. And everyone's like, why did I even come today? Why? It's that kind, yeah. Maybe for our next interview. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having me.